And welcome to the Writer's Life, the place where you get the sight, sound, smells, taste of my particular writer's life. Gotta turn on the light. And where you play, and take two. And the place where you get the sight, sound, smells of it. Take three. And where you get the truth about the writer's life. My truth, anyway. Subscribe, if you haven't already. Punch the like button. Tap the bell for notifications so that you don't miss out on one single exciting video. How exciting they are. So I'm contemplating who I'm going to have as my next guest. I don't know if it's going to be a writer, but it'll be somebody interesting. Like the one we had on Friday with Troy Lambert. Why do I always want to say Troy Aikman? But before we get started with independence, I wanted to just make sure you go to the store, www.vinzandri.com, vinzandri.com, no space, vinzandri.com, so that you can pick up all the thrillers you want. So you can totally leave this planet behind you and escape. And more titles are being added every day to the website so that you can buy direct from the website and save. Buy direct and save. It should be like buy direct and save. Right? Who's there, Mary? Hi, Gold Patrol, Mary. You spelled that correctly. You spelled that correctly. Thank you. vinzandri. I suppose that's what you're talking about, Mary. By the way, go to Gold Patrol 727. This is brought to you by Gold Patrol 727, the newest in personal training and life coaching in the Watertown area. Gold Patrol 727. Just Google it, and you will find it. Really cool program. Get you right back in shape. Get you off the couch. Thin out that fat ass of yours. I shouldn't say that. Most of Mary's clients are already in shape. They just want to be in better shape. Anyway, she's very good. She was a colonel in New York State Troopers. Now, it's not easy becoming a colonel, especially as a female in New York State Troopers. So she knows what she's talking about. She gets up at 5 and runs 10 miles. Who does that? LOL. It's the truth, though, and you know it, Mary. You give it your all. She's an inspiration. She's in Watertown right now. Let's see if I can see her. Oh, yeah, there you are. All right, enough silliness. Independence. So, first of all, I'm a hybrid author. And before we go any further, I watched actually one of Troy Lambert's videos he does. It's a really well done professional podcast he does with another female author her name escapes me right now, but she's an editor. I don't know if she's an author, but she's an editor. She's probably both, just like Troy is both. And they were doing a podcast on writing scams, and there's a ton of them out there. And their version, there's two versions of the hybrid author. My version is different from theirs. Their version of the hybrid author is a writer, more like a wannabe writer, a would-be writer. Actually, a writer who sucks, who doesn't know what he or she is doing, and it's that therefore they're not even really a writer. And so what they do is they'll spend up to $25,000 for a company to actually publish their book. Now that's called vanity publishing, and that is a big no-no. That is not good. Don't ever pay an agent who's asking you for money. I actually fired an agent once because he wanted to take a cut of my independent books. And I was like, hit the road, you're done. Not even a question. Like within the same breath, I was like, "You're fired." He's like, "What?" Like you're a scam artist. Never pay an agent. Never pay someone who calls themselves a publisher because that's vanity publishing. Um, Never pay for reviews. Don't ever pay for somebody who's gonna, say they have like a big name or used to have a big name or something like that, and they're like, "Well, we'll work with your book and then we'll give it a review, and if you give us like $25,000, scam." Um, anyway, there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of editors that are way overcharging, and so you gotta. I mean, I've lived and learned, but luckily I've had really good editors in the past who've been fair and stuff like that. And I've got one now who's like overly fair, good guy, but he does it for the love of the game. Um, but anyway, they were referring to this type of thing, this vanity press type of thing, as hybrid publishing, and I I humbly disagree with them. I don't. I think vanity publishing. You should just keep calling it vanity publishing because that's what it is. A hybrid author, in my book, is an author who publishes traditionally, like I do, and independently, like I do. That to me is hybrid authorship. So, Troy, if you're listening to this or whatever, anyway, that's just my take on it. And I left them. I left a note, a comment rather, under the in the comment section of their podcast, which was very good, by the way. I wish I could remember it. I'll find the name of it, or if Troy, you're out there somewhere, just pop the link in there. But that to me is hybrid publishing. So don't get the two confused. I'm using the term hybrid publishing less and less as I move more and more to indie publishing and the indie world, which I think is absolutely taking over everything. For instance, this is going to be a very, very, very different political campaign season because in 2020, the news you were getting was still, the majority of the news you were getting was still dominated by the four major cable networks: MSNBC, CNN, Fox, and of course ABC, NBC, and all that other garbage. It's all garbage. No question about it. These guys, they're owned by like BlackRock, which is George Soros. They're owned by Pfizer. The head of like the FDC, the federal whatever, or the Federal Drug Administration, the head of the Federal Drug Administration is on the board of Pfizer. Now, what does that tell you? And he was just a guest on CNN, and they're like, "Oh, let's ask him his professional opinion." And people buy like his take because what they want to do is create even another booster so that you could fuck up your body even more. They're gonna like censor me on that one, but hey, it's the truth. My truth, anyway. In my humble opinion. But for the first time ever, especially in the wake of the Tucker Carlson firing and his utter just huge success in the independent world. Again, along with Joe Rogan, Dave Smith, Dave Rubin. It's going to be a very different political season because these assholes at the major cable networks who are lying to you through their teeth so that they can collect a big paycheck are not going to get away with their lies. They're just not going to get away with them as much as they used to because people are shifting to the independent world. They're shifting to independent channels. And I think that's one of the reasons why this channel has done as modest as it is. It's basically a computer, the monitor that comes with it, and the microphone that comes with it has done as well as it has because you're getting something you're not getting from any other podcast. You're getting something you're not getting from the mainstream. And so many bookstores, so many agents, so many publishers have been pulling the wool over writers' eyes for ages. so many marketing people, so many publicists. Um, I've worked with a few of them, and they are all full of shit, and they charge unbelievable amount of bucks, and they're all full of shit. Trust me on this. Um, I know I sound cynical, but I've lived through this for over 25 years. Who can you rely on? Who can you trust? Yourself. Now, the reason why I love the independent network society, as I call it, and also the electronic or the digital pulp era, is because I can write what I want as fast as I can, as long as it's good. I can publish as often as I want. Um, I get to choose the layout. I get to choose the cover. I get to choose the whole product. Um, and no one is going. I could publish everywhere, all over the world. I don't even. Who was it? Actually, Mary was asking me this morning. She was saying like, "Oh, how come you don't go to like?" What were you asking me this morning? You're out there. Hybrid Scout podcast. Oh, okay, that's what it is. The hybrid what? Hybrid Pub Scout podcast. Okay. No, I don't think that's it. But keep looking. Um, she was asking if I go to like local, business meetings. What do they call those again? I don't know. Whatever. I'm like, no, because I don't do anything locally. I don't do signings. Uh, the useless New York State Writers Institute had George or Russo in last night. What's his first name? Richard Russo in last night, who actually is a very good author. He's like 80 years old. He's a old like Mohawk. He wrote Mohawk and Hudson Valley writer. One of the last of his generation. And actually, someone asked me last night if I was going, and I was like, no, no. I see no reason to do that. I'd rather spend time working on my own stuff. But that's part of the point of being an independent. You don't need to do stuff like that. You don't need to be seen. You don't need to like suck up to anybody. You don't need to be, on your knees. And I'm just sick of having, live my life like that. I was talking to my mother even yesterday about the best thing I ever did was start Bear Media, because, for example, I'm waiting on a royalty check. That royalty check will represent about 8 or 9 books. And as much as I love them, it will be the equivalent of what I make via Bear Media for just 1 month. It will represent 6 months, but it will be the equivalent of what I make out of Bear Media for 1 month. Because I'm giving all my money away, and I'm kind of giving away some of the IP. But in this case, with this publisher, I just license the books. I'm not giving them my entire IP, and they understand that. So that's why I work with them. In any case, anyway, that's why I love the independent world. And I just see every month it's a slow, it's, this isn't like Bitcoin hitting a really good day and having a spike. It's just with every book I publish, it's just a slow, steady financial climb up the ladder. My little stairway to heaven. Of course, I'll probably be near near my final trip to heaven by the time I get rich off of it. But I'm doing all right. I'm a little tight lately, but there's good times, there's bad times, but mostly it's like in the middle, and that's just fine with me because I've raised my kids and all that sort of stuff, so I don't have to worry about it so much. I really only have to worry about me, this guy, and like my mother said, get that fucking tooth fixed, would you? All right, she didn't say that for it, but I'm just adding it for drama's sake. Gold Patrol Mary says interview with Emily. Yeah, I think that's it. Just Google that stuff. All right, what else going on? I got all these black and blues. I don't know if you can see them. Looks like a tattoo, doesn't it? I guess it's from I take some blood thinners and speaking of working out, like here's a workout tip of the day. Thanks to Goal Patrol 727. Um, Sometimes your workouts get really boring because you've been doing the same thing every day for months and months and months. So one of the ways to mix it up and to shock your muscles is to reverse it. All too often we start off with lighter weight and all that sort of stuff. And by the time we're finishing up, we're using heavier weights. But sometimes reverse it all. Start off with the heavy weights and just go backwards. Go in reverse with your workout, and your body will respond to it. And what you see here, that's just the capillaries that tear down. Because what you're doing when you're lifting weights is I don't know how we got on this topic. Mary, you threw me off in a good way. When you're lifting weights, you're actually tearing down muscle. You're tearing it apart. And that's why it's important to rest. Take naps, get as much rest as you can, take a day off here and there so that your muscles can recover. And when they recover, they grow. And they give you these big biceps like the Arnold. I'm such a ham, aren't I? Yeah, see, there it is. Mary's got the old, she's got biceps too. You should see them. She's also got a nice butt. Mm-hmm. She does. She's also got a nice. All right. She's going to get mad at me if I keep going on like that. We're just friends. All right, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for chiming in. Goal Patrol 727. Don't forget to go there. Goal Patrol 727. Goal Patrol 727 and sign up and get in a really good workout now. You can also, she's starting up online workouts. So you can be in Beijing, you can be in Moscow, you can be in wherever. You can be in Italy, and you can get yourself in a good workout online, because that's the world we live in. All right. I will catch you guys, God willing. Adamani. And ciao, ciao.